Craig, a nerve-wracking 15 minutes. How did you hold up?
Yeah, I was doing so good up there. It was a bit, it was a bit close for comfort, really. And we weren't really sort of probably playing that well or sticking to what we'd be doing in that situation. A couple of times we went away from that, so that was, we just need to have a bit of a look at that and try and fix that up. But I haven't said that. Parramatta have been in pretty good form. They played well last week, and I thought they played pretty well tonight. We just got a bit undisciplined at times. I think in the second half we give away seven penalties. So you can't sort of do that in half a footy and at this level, and not pay the price. And we're fortunate enough to get out of it tonight. But if you keep doing that, like I say, it's not going to help you.
Did you feel like it was the way that Parramatta came at you that you sort of were forced into making some poor decisions, or you sort of felt like you went away from your game plan from the outset, or was it? What do you put it down to?
I'm not quite sure. I think Parramatta play well. And they've, the last 6 weeks they've probably played well, and they've been a little bit unlucky in a couple of games. So I know that was a little bit of pressure they put on that we didn't handle so well. I'm not quite sure, but like I say, we were fortunate enough, and with all due respect, we had a couple of guys pull out this week as well, and we had a couple of guys that were playing injured. So at the end of the day, it was a reasonably brave effort from us when you consider some of the circumstances. But there's some things we'd like to do differently, and we know there's some things there that we'll need to do differently, or it's not going to work in six weeks' time.
What do you make of how the attack functioned, Craig, without Jerome out there?
Yeah, it was always going to be a little bit difficult, and perhaps hasn't played for 4 weeks or whatever. So sort of just getting that sort of I suppose combination back when we had GA's been playing a bit in the centres and Nick's been playing full back. So again, they're just different positions for them, this week. So, like when you take all that into consideration, like I say, it was a pretty, brave performance from us. But as I said, we're just a bit undisciplined at times, and that's something we'll need to have a look at.
Does he get the kicking tee back next week, or is Nick Meaney going to continue shooting?
I think
you're a goal kicker, aren't
you? Yeah.
Do some practice during the week.
Want to be 10 metres out in front for me to kick them, but I think we'll go back to Nick next week, to be quite honest. But anyway, we'll have a chat about it and go from there.
What did you make of Stefano? Like, his first stint was very strong, but he had that carry just before the Xavier coach. I think he knocked over 4 guys, got the quick play the ball, and really put him on the front foot for that set.
Yeah, he's really come a long way in the last 2 or 3 weeks. I think early in the year he was still sort of getting used to what we see as important, and what we expected from him, and what the players around him, what we wanted from them as well. And he's a great kid though. He works really hard. You don't sort of notice him too much. He's fairly quiet, but like I say, he's just starting to really pick up what we see as important and what we really need from him. And probably his last 3 weeks has been outstanding, and I'd probably play his longest minutes tonight as well. So we're really happy with the way he's coming along.
So Coach, you called you're one of your best buys before in games, time's gone by, but I think when that kick went up and he scored, Munster was like, I told you so, I told you that was happening. Is that always just like when you see that kick go up, are you fairly confident too, and you see Coach just because of the way he can stand up and deliver like that, like the way the skill level of what he can do?
Again, like tonight, we've had him score that try, and we had Elle score a try. How many times he's done that this year, and I think their influence on our team, but on some of our successes this year is that they've been heavily involved. And like last week, they probably weren't that heavily involved, but it was, like for me, it was a real plus in that we won without them guys being heavily involved and doing, you know, their best work, you know, whereas tonight they really saved us, you know, with, you know, what they've been doing all year, really. So, yeah, but like I say, yeah, you know, it's going to be a, you know, good chance of being a success when we get the kick on the right spot and X gets through after it. Yeah.
Harris, a couple of the calls tonight. What did you make of their second try? Did the ref explain sort of the bunker process and what was going on there?
Yeah, I did. Sorry, no.
You-
You're talking about no. Yeah, actually, yeah, he's better to talk. Yeah.
I'm
About
better
that.
to talk.
Yeah. So what happened there? Yeah.
The one with Paps.
No, Parramatta's second try. Do you think Charlie Geimer got the ball down?
Yeah, with Paps where he
Yeah.
held him up. Yeah, you know, they're those ones. You got to back them in. They've got all the technology up there, and it goes up a try. It's one of those things. It's out of my control. Like we always say, we put ourselves in positions to stop tries. Then that's a tick. But at the end of the day, we don't control that. And yeah, I think Paps was pretty confident, but at the end of the day, that they get that call, and you know, we just got to move on with it.
What about the late penalty? I know they've changed the rules with the hooker passing into guys in the ruck, but how tough is it when there are guys sort of on their knees in the ruck and like you have to sort of reach around to get it past them?
Yeah, well, maybe that's something through the week that we can have a conversation and get some real understanding about. I think, you know, we're in a position to take a field goal there, and I think there was a lot of it in the game. There was a lot of it. So, yeah, it's probably something they need to, or we can ask a question about, and then, you know, have a real understanding and then go from there.
Craig, what was your plan with Jonah tonight?
With who, mate?
What was your plan with Jonah?
We didn't really have a plan, to be quite honest. Yeah, we thought at some stage we'd, you know, with Wish, if, you know, someone in the backs got hurt or someone in the ruck, and we had a couple of big guys in the ruck, you know, just to put him into Wish into the ruck, and then, you know, bring Jonah on. So it didn't happen. Like we just thought we'd need a bit of size out there, and when, you know, Bronson went on, you know, he's not the biggest guy, so we didn't really want to put Wish in the ruck then, you know, while Bronson was on there. So we still wanted to, you know, keep a bit of size there. So, like I say, the last, you know, Jonah's real strength is his organisation, his kicking game. So, you know, like I say, and we didn't get that injury. So, as I said, we didn't really have a plan for him at the start, but when Wish moved away from there, obviously we were going to, you know, put him on, which we did. And, you know, I think he went on, done a really good job, actually. He made his tackles and, you know, kicked well. And, you know, obviously, you know, Harry'd probably be a better judge there, but, you know, I think he organised it pretty well as well, which is his strength. So, like I say, we didn't have a plan. We weren't, you know, we didn't expect him to play half a game. We didn't expect him to play 5 minutes. At the end of the day, it was just, you know, what happened in the game and go from there.
How do you see that evolving potentially in the weeks to come?
Say again, sorry?
How do you see that evolving in the next month or so? Do you see potentially giving it a chance or a start?
Again, he could, and, you know, but, you know, I thought our Arv's done a great, you know, I thought, you know, Wish done a really good job tonight, you know. At the end of the day, he's got strengths in his game that I thought, you know, he brought his strengths to the game, you know. So at the end of the day, we'll just use him how we, you know, how we see fit and what we think's best for the team, you know. Like, that there might be, without, you know, saying it's going to happen for sure, you know, that he mightn't be in our 17, you know, for a week or two. Like, who knows, you know. It's, again, you know, we had a few guys out tonight, and, you know, when some of them come back, you know, we're just going to pick who we think's the best 17 to play this weekend against, you know, whatever opposition. So, yeah, like I say, that there was no real plan from him, but because, you know, Wish, it was his first time playing halfback for a while, we just wanted to put him on the bench and, you know, just give some backup there.
I should have asked you about the penalty that was given against Harry. Did you sort of hold your head back when Marty asked Harry about it? Did you have a view on it? Or?
Yeah, I've got a view on it, but you probably don't want to hear it. So.
I'd love to hear it.
Yeah, I know you won't, yeah.
Thanks, guys. We'll call
All
it.
right, thank you.